have a very powerful hurricane nearing the coastline of Louisiana this afternoon. Hello, I'm Mike Nasel with the latest on Hurricane Delta. Delta has been weakening somewhat as forecast by the National Hurricane Center. However, it remains a very dangerous and powerful hurricane. Look at that beautiful satellite of the United States. You could see this troughiness here in the central U.S. has picked our hurricane up, and it has made that turn now to the north-northeast, and it will make landfall later this afternoon or early evening in the general vicinity of Cameron Parish and Vermilion Parish in Louisiana, the western and southwestern areas of Louisiana so heavily devastated by Category 4 Hurricane Laura just about a month and a half or so ago. Here's the latest as of 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern, and remember, by the time you see this updates, this might be a little different because we're getting hourly fixes now. We have the Air Force recon flying out there, we've got radar, satellite, everyone on top of Delta. The eye of the hurricane as of 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central, was at 28.7 north, 93.6 west. Winds are down to 110. So it's no longer a major hurricane, it's now a Category 2, but it's right on the edge, and it's still very powerful. It's about 963 millibars, the pressure's come up slightly, and it is moving north-northeast at 14, so it's clearly now feeling the influence of that trough, and it has begun that motion to the northeast. Tropical storm winds now impacting Louisiana, the hurricane winds still just offshore, but that won't be the case for long as the hurricane accelerates. Now, what are we talking about wind-wise? Well, you could see it had been up to a Category 4 in the Caribbean, then it weakened down to a Category 1, then it was back up to a Category 3. Right now, we are right about here, where that green line is. So we are still dealing with a very extensive hurricane, and that's just for the winds. The storm surge is going to be the big problem. You can still see from the National Hurricane Center 7 to 11 feet, basically between the area here of Holly Beach, Grand Chenier, and Morgan City. Somewhere in this region here is going to have the biggest onshore push of water. And imagine 11 feet of storm surge with crashing waves on top of that. That is very devastating. This area of the coastline, as you are well aware with Hurricane Rita and Hurricane Laura this year, is very susceptible to high water rises. Now, down here near Port O'Connor and Galveston Bay in Texas, we could hope that we have some offshore flow and maybe the water won't pile on. But even over to Mobile Bay and areas of the mouth of the Pearl River, we could have surge of 1 to 3 feet, no doubt. We do have a storm surge warning in effect from High Island all the way over to the mouth of the Pearl River with the expectation of that storm surge, and obviously our hurricane warning from High Island, Texas, all the way over to Morgan City, Louisiana. There's a beautiful visible satellite shot. You could see our hurricane there pushing to the north-northeast. It's getting close. The eye's no longer discernible, but there's a lot of energy here just pushing into the coastline. And these October hurricanes do happen. I remember when I was about 14 years old, roughly, Hurricane Lily, October 2002, slammed right into the mid-Louisiana coast. Had been a Category 4 weakened to a 1. This was a Category 4 at one point, and it's a Category 2. So this is still a very dangerous storm. Here's the radar from Mark Niesenbaum's website, a great long radar loop. You can see some good news there. The southern eye wall appears to be open, which is a sign that the storm is not strengthening, as reported by the aircraft out there flying around in it. Nevertheless, it is on a fast approach. Look at that there. It is getting close to making landfall. It's making a very quick beeline for areas there just to the east, it looks like, of where Hurricane Laura hit. So it might be interesting to see if we could even differentiate damage from Laura and from Delta, because the area it's hitting is so close to the same spot. Nevertheless, Laura's surge was more located in Cameron Parish. This could have more wide-ranging impacts because this is such a spread-out storm. You can see the radar from New Orleans, not too much for you guys right now in the way of rain, but if you're further to the west, Baton Rouge, batten down the hatches. Lafayette, Baton Rouge, you guys are going to get hit pretty hard. It might not be raining that hard yet, but it's going to be. You can see the center there just offshore. It's going to make landfall in that general vicinity just to the east of Cameron, Louisiana, and areas of Abbeville, Avery Island, Marsh Island, Morgan City, Intercoastal City. You guys are going to have the biggest pileup of storm surge, no doubt about that. Not just the surge, but also rain, 6 to 10 inches of rain that's going to spread all the way into Arkansas and Mississippi, and then we'll see that rain later on spread into the Tennessee and Ohio River Valley. Here's a buoy offshore of Houston area. You can see obviously the pressure's plummeting and the winds are rising, a clear sign of an approaching hurricane. Same thing there offshore Louisiana. You can see wind speeds getting higher and higher. Now we're starting to get wind gusts approaching hurricane force just offshore. The key messages as of 11 a.m., which stand the same this afternoon with Hurricane Delta. Number one, a life-threatening storm surge expected near and east of where Delta makes landfall this evening. We have that storm surge warning from High Island to the mouth of the Pearl River. The highest of 7 to 11 feet expected somewhere between that Rockefeller Wildlife Refuge and Morgan City. Water levels in this area they're going to rise very quickly this afternoon and evening as it approaches, and so efforts to protect life and property should already be rushed to completion. You should get away from any low-lying areas right now. Number two, hurricane force winds are expected in that hurricane warning area, and that's going to spread inland. So prepare for those power outages and downed trees and just a very nasty October night. And number three, heavy rainfall will lead to significant flash flooding and minor to major river flooding in portions of Louisiana through Saturday, and that additional flooding is likely, as I mentioned before, into the lower Mississippi Valley. So again, a very, very dangerous hurricane. You can see it there on the satellite imagery, how beautiful it is coming ashore, but still very powerful. 110 miles an hour, just got that classic hurricane shape. Definitely a very memorable October hurricane nearing landfall in Louisiana. I'm Mike Naso with the latest on Hurricane Delta, and I will talk to you guys more next time.